going on, everybody? So, I've seen everything that's been happening as far as these natural disasters that look man-made, dams collapsing, uh, the biolabs catching fire in Georgia or Atlanta, wherever it was. Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, it was Georgia or something like that. Anyway, I just want to tell y'all something. Uh, Talking about it as zombie apocalypse. What else? It's a whole bunch of other topics that you people, you know, you start to get, y'all start to panic, right? And y'all don't see the greater picture of the situation. So basically, let me just say something. Let me just say this. When you feel like, the scientists or some type of government officials or whatever have anything to do with something shady or crooked as far as making natural disasters, HARP, uh, precipitation with weather control, y'all have to understand that a lot of people aren't in danger when these things happen. Certain things happen for a reason naturally, and then certain things are man made disasters so they can start new life. The earth is dry, bro. It's very dry. The summer, especially in New York, was very, very cold for the last couple of years. And I'm not gonna lie, I noticed in 2013 that the last 2 weeks of August were very was extremely cold. Last 2 weeks, and August is supposed to be one of the hottest months. Summer's only 3 months, 90 days or something like that, right? From June 21st until whenever it's over. It just was over. When was that? September 21st, something like that. Yeah, 3 4 months. So if these scientists, if they don't break the levees and let the water spill over to the soil due to the lack of rainfall or due to anything else that's weather related, obviously the land, plantations, vegetation, everything is just going to die. It's going to starve. And, you know, the dwindle, the whole dwindling process, when it, when the irrigation, when it starts to, die off and you cannot resuscitate it, no seeds available, cow manure, or any other things like that. When those resources, those natural resources, aren't available anymore, that makes a significant impact on how we live. So people all the time talk about a sacrifice, talk about this, that, and the third. Even if you're in your house every single day, right? And you have to sacrifice something. Maybe you can't eat as much as you want right now, but 2 3 days later you get close to getting some money or getting a paycheck. You could live a little better because you stretch it out. So it's a sacrifice. So all of this, conspiracy or whatever, you're right. But at the same time, why would the government officials that are in power and you as the people don't know what you're doing? Why do they have to keep you up and ask your permission to save the earth and you don't even know how to save the earth? So we're going to say, for instance, with the dam that just broke right now and the flood that just went over, right? And a whole bunch of people suffered from the situation. Now you have different type of housings. Apartments. Some people live in apartments, townhouses. Certain people live in mansions and palaces, looking houses or whatever, and regular houses. It's all where you get your money and where you establish yourself. So if you're a millionaire or you just got a big sum of money and you want to build a house in the middle of the woods where you're not surrounded by anybody and you want to own specific property, you want to own your own property, your own piece of body of land, you are now, as a human being, as a resident, you're now taking on the responsibility and the dangers of what you paid for. So if there's a wide grassland, okay, so there's no indigenous animals like carnivores, predators that's just gonna, walk you down and run in your house and eat you, and it's a problem. If that's not the problem, another problem can be you can be 30 feet away from a horizon, and on that horizon or that little mountain hilltop, it could be a waterfall. You cannot, as a human being, a grown human being that paid money, if something happens, we cannot control every Earth planet movement. If something happens, that's on you. You have to realize that. Not everybody is taking $1 million, going to the middle of the jungle just to prove a point and build a house. People are not everybody's doing that. Certain people is living in a different type of, you know, lifestyle, whether it's the projects or it's the boondocks. So now we sitting here looking at TV and we looking at levees exploding or dams exploding and floods and stuff like that. Looks terrible. But you have one house in the middle of a swamp. And that one specific person gets to make everybody that's a part of the government look shady. That's a little wrong. That's backwards. You as a human being, you took your money and you built your house by a swamp. A swamp. Not only you can get flooded, a mountain lion can run in your house and do something to you. A bear or a pack of wolves or even a lynx can just sleep by your crib, wait till you come out and just chop you out. So what's the excuse there? You move into a swamp, right? And now they need this swamp gone. Why do they need this swamp gone? I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna give you a good example. The last two videos I showed you guys, right, of the UFOs that's near this park. There's a specific area by the bleachers on the baseball field, right? Right in back of the bleachers, the state of New York had found like different type of like poisonous plants that grew out of nowhere, right here in Yonkers, New York, and they will not cut him. It looks like a damn a forest, like a wild forest. The guy was cutting grass, right? At first I was hooping because usually on the bleachers or whatever, they got the cement bleachers, and they got the concrete walls, the cement walls, the concrete walls. I take my boxing gloves or whatever, and I do like 9-minute rounds, right? And I sit up there and I layer up. I probably put on, a pair of gloves under the boxing gloves, right? And I sit up there and I just work on technique, and I'm hitting the concrete wall as hard as I could. I'm punching up and everything, right? Getting a nice workout. So they used to cut it. Now they don't cut it. And people, they weren't doing nasty stuff, before. But I guess, when I get people's attention or whatever, people start to act on it because, slimy people is slimy people. Period, point blank. So I had went away and stopped, training back there. A lot of people seen me or whatever. And the guys stopped cutting grass back there. So I went over there and I asked them. I said, so why I said, why y'all don't cut back there? Y'all cut the whole grass. I let them know. I said, listen, y'all just built a new park, right? I've been here for 30 years. This is what I told them. I've been here for 30 years. Plus, 30 plus years. And I can guarantee you, the last thing we want over here is a park. We had a park, Trevor Park. Now they've made it into a kind of a better park, and it's supposedly DMX's park. However, on this side of Yonkers, on this side of New York, right, we get a bad attraction because we got two famous rappers that grew up over here, Jadakiss and Sheek. So for years, I'm talking about since I was a shorty, every time the other side of Yonkers, they arrive over here with a vengeance. They arrive over here with a purpose. They arrive over here with a goal, with an attitude, you know? So I told the guy, like, look, I'm a resident here. I've been a resident here. I've been through it back and forth. The last thing we want is a park. His whole face changed. I said, now explain this to me, right? I pointed to the bleachers. I said, y'all do this whole field, beautiful, right? And as soon as you people see that I'm sitting up there training, y'all don't cut it. He said, do you know that we have been cutting that spot for the last, however, I forgot what he said, for years. He said, we've been cutting that spot for years. And out of nowhere, dangerous, poisonous plants are starting to grow back there. I was like, you're right. They said it's under investigation. Either somebody planted that there or something just happened. Now, mind you, this is a spot where, you know, like I showed you in 2-3 of my videos, you will see a UFO on any given day. And you will be there shocked, like, is this the norm? So now I did plenty of videos in previous videos. What I did was I showed y'all what I thought the purpose of a UFO was. It was to mate with the planet. That's what I think. I think when you see them, and if they make an act, even if you see it in the sky and it's screeching and it didn't do anything phenomenal, just the presence of the UFO and the energy of it is probably giving off something to the earth, you know, making it beat. And you know, when something is beating, it could grow. You know, when your heart is beating fast, like say if you run, right? Say if you go for a nice little mile or 2-mile run, right? And you stop your run and your heart is beating. Do you know if you start like working out your arms and wherever, especially up on your arms and your chest and your back, you get bigger that way when your heart rate is sped up. So I feel like once you see the UFO and it's pulsating, it has a natural effect on the land, on the earth. Is mating, yes, mating with the earth. Do you know I went back there? And mind you, I've trained back there numerous of times. And there was nothing there. Nothing. People weren't even going to the bathroom there. Do you know as soon as he told me that, I didn't believe him? And I went back there because I went a long time without seeing it. And he was right. Out of nowhere. It's poison ivy back there now. It's poison. It's all types of, I don't know if it's sumac or whatever. It's all types of crazy growth. Different colors. I'm talking about it orange and red looking plant. It got a little purple on it. I was scared to death. This shit grew like it was nothing back there. Now this shit is like this high. And it's contaminated. I said, wait, hold on. Hold on. How is that possible? I was just back there. And I had to tell him something too. He said that's why it's under investigation. And he said, and that's why it's crazy you said you don't want to park back there because they thinking about shutting the whole park down. So I had to put him on to something. I said, listen, the reason why I come out here a lot or whatever, it's not because I'm bored. It's because it's a weirdo out here. It's a guy, he's a weirdo, right? He's been out here for about 10 years, right? And what he did, and everybody found out, is that he took an intravenous steroid, an illegal intravenous steroid, and he never worked out. He just wanted to just take a steroid. He's a black dude. He's fat, right? His eyes are like turning white. And what he did was, right, he injected his dog with the steroids. So he used to come outside, like this is 2014, 2015. He used to come outside with his dog, and his dog is on steroids, and he looks like he's dying. And everybody was scared to death. Like the little kids, the adults or whatever. And mind you, I had been away prior to 2014. I have been away from this whole side for a while. I was working and I was back and forth from Virginia to New York or whatever, you know. I seen him finally. So the little kids start panicking, and the other like teenagers or whatever we used to, you know, hoop with or whatever, play basketball or work out with or train or whatever. They get scared as hell. They run. Like as soon as he come, he let his dog off, right? And his dog just started going crazy, but the dog wouldn't bite nobody. He was just running around crazy, and he's sitting up there trying to chase the dog, but he do it on purpose. His eyes going white. So people asked me and this other dude that knew him. Now, I didn't know they knew each other, but he was familiar with him. Just so happened they both were on the same steroid. It's just that the dude that I know, he actually works out. Like I used to work out with him or whatever. Like he's strong the other way, like as far as lifting weights and stuff like that. That's what he do. He just liked my work ethic because I was a cardio head and I can lift also. A lot of people can't do both. Some people do one or the other. I had the best of both worlds, but you know, my main focus was cardio, and that's what they needed because they just had, you know what I'm saying? They took the steroid the wrong way. So the adults, the kids, they knew I was a fighter. They knew the other dude that I knew, he was real enough to say something because every time he came in the park, he'd be like, yo, my man, what are you doing? Get your dog or whatever. So the kids used to ask, and the teenagers used to ask us, like, yo, if it go down, can you hold us down? Because we really want something to happen to him, and we scared of his dog. So besides that, right, he used to take his dog to the bleachers, and he used to go under the bleachers just to use the bathroom. I've seen the defecation from the dog, and I've seen his human defecation from a steroid, and it looks like plastic. You know how defecation is supposed to deteriorate? Like the flies and everything is supposed to eat the defecation. You know what I'm saying? And it eventually goes away. When you are on a steroid and it's not processed, it's the wrong steroid, even with an animal, the defecation becomes like plastic. Like it's crazy. It doesn't disintegrate or nothing. It doesn't go away or nothing. Like you have to literally like probably pour like bleach and hot water just to get it away. So magically, all of a sudden, that same spot, right? It's poisonous flowers, poisonous grass back there, and they thinking about shutting it down. You see what I mean? So if we needed a levee or a dam to explode so an abundance of water could clean out the landscape, then that's what has to happen. That's what you have to understand. That's what has to happen. I feel sorry for the whole Hurricane Katrina situation. That situation is way different than what I'm talking about now. But I'm just giving you prime examples on how the government and scientists, how they take certain bodies of land and they have to destroy them no matter who's there or not. And trust me, the latest situation, they chose it. They chose where they had to live. The Hurricane Katrina situation, it was messed up. But if you look at New Orleans, Louisiana, or wherever, the whole place, if you look at the history, and then you heard other people that were down there saying why those white people, that's what they said, why those white people did that to Hurricane Katrina. It was literally, within Hurricane Katrina to Louisiana, it was destined to happen because all of the foul and evil that was going down there. That's the reason why they did what they did to Hurricane Katrina. They had to calm it down that way, because it was that much voodoo, black magic, drugs. It was too much darkness, and that's why they did that. My uncle was on a hurricane relief team, and then somebody I went to school with, HT, his name was HT. He was from New Orleans, Louisiana. He was a football player. He looked like the brolic version of Lil Wayne. And he even kept it official with me. He was like, bro, I'm so happy I got out of there. He was like, not even just before the storm. He said certain people that died in the storm, they were lucky. That's how bad that place was. He said one time, these women got a blowfish. And there's something in the blowfish. You know how the blowfish expands like this? If you take the pocket that's in the blowfish that makes them blow like that, and you open the blowfish and there's a powder. They said there's a powder in the blowfish to where the women did something and they was able to get the powder out the blowfish and they'll blow it in your face and it'll put you in the daze. Stuff like that. It's stuff like that that make you think. People tying people to trees. Certain people are carving trees open, right? Hiding things in trees and then putting the tree back. It was just crazy the way he was explaining stuff to me. So I know you feel like everything is evil that happens and it comes from a certain type of human being. But at the end of the day, it's a form of cleansing, and I'm being dead serious, because the earth is very dry, and I'm telling you, right, there's infectious plants back there. I've been here my whole life. For the sequence to fall like that a man is constantly using the bathroom with his animal that's on steroids, and then all of a sudden you have poisonous grasses and flowers that's growing up. And I told him, I said the reason he got shocked, the guy that was cutting the grass, he got shocked. And he used to do it all the time. I guess we scared him away. Like, he don't come over here no more. But for that sequence to happen, a man and his pet high off steroids, constantly using the bathroom outside. I guess they couldn't use it inside. It wouldn't come out. It was constipated. And for infectious, dangerous, poisonous plants to just come out of nowhere in the children's park, that's a little crazy. So if the government wanted to flood the park where the kids was at, and where they play at, but they're not there right now, you could kind of understand it, because all it takes is for a kid to run away from his parent and just fall in the back. You got her next to a basketball court, tennis court, and a baseball court. That's what I'm saying. So don't take too much stuff that you see on TV, and don't put too much energy in it. Certain people are going to suffer, but they made certain decisions. I don't mean to be cold about that. Now, the situation where the biolab exploded, now that's a little different. Now I feel like we could be zombies. I didn't want to say it or nothing like that, but that's a biolab. Meaning, it's just not health, It's just not your health, physical health, as like body ailments. It's also a mental capacity and mental health. You don't necessarily have to sniff, smell, or consume like a foreign object or lab ridden specimens. You don't have to consume it to have a physical body ailment. It might not shut your body down just like a steroid. It could just mess you up psychologically. Because if you look at a steroid, whatever in a steroid, it goes to the back of your brain, tightening the back of your brain. That's how you get strong. The reptilian sensory is located on the back of the brain. So everything that's in the steroid, it enhances you. And like you said, you have your 7 chakras, but a lot of people don't. You fail to realize you have it's called the flower of life. The flower of life is on your back. And everybody, especially New York, y'all ignore that. Y'all sit up there and you look like you want a chakra. You look like you want 2 chakras, or all of them. You look like you know something about Hindu. But then you forget about the tree of life that's on your back. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff that's happening, it's a fight for power. It's people arguing. It's these brainiacs that came to a disagreement. They just was bored. They just wanted to disagree with each other and just start some shit. Now, if a biolab explodes and you got something that's worse than COVID, and it doesn't affect you immediately, right? It doesn't affect you immediately. It can take 2 weeks, a month, or three months to kick in, side effects to kick in for people. That's a problem. That's a huge, huge problem. I don't think y'all understand that. Forget the Diddy situation, right? You know Ancestry.com and 23andMe? Did you hear what happened with 23andMe? The 23andMe, everybody's DNA, everybody's information got leaked out. That's why they distracting you with this Diddy situation. Your blood type, your actual saliva that you put in there to get your blood and all that, your DNA, everybody's DNA and information was leaked out. So all of the executives from 23andMe stepped down. So look at it. Biohazard Labs, right? And now in another state, or on the other side of the country, you have your ancestry, 23andMe, your DNA, millions and millions and millions of people's DNA, biological saliva and everything, and information stolen. What kind of weirdo will want to go around collecting a whole bunch of people's spit? A body snatcher or organ harvester, right? You see how that looks? That's crazy. And another thing,